This man just showed his face. The girl was trembling with fear, but I didn't realize. Behind the door, a group of men in stockings came out. The lewd laughter echoed throughout the room. The girl subconsciously begged, but the men got even more excited. As they laughed, they stuffed the girl's mouth with stinky socks. The men behind her grabbed the girl and tried to tear her clothes off, but the man in charge stops him.
우리 만질 순 없잖아.
Then he puts the glasses on the girl. The girl cries out in despair.
액션.
The man who shot the video was the girl's first love. They fell in love online only a month. This is the first date. During this time, the man invited the girl to his home. After a few cups of soju, the girl got drunk. At that moment, the man gave the girl, falsely claimed to be an antidote to alcohol, and gave it to the girl. When the girl woke up again, it was too late. Waiting for him will be inhuman atrocities. And the worst is yet to come. After the girl returned home, she received a video from her first love. His hands were shaking, and he couldn't stop crying. He didn't dare tell anyone about it. In front of her mom, who came to visit, the girl could only curl up under the covers and cry in secret. The girl did not dare to resist, made the scum even more unscrupulous. She couldn't take the abuse anymore. She wanted to run away from here forever. So she told her mom she wanted to move to Seoul, but she couldn't come up with a reason to move. Her mother ignored it as a child's tantrum. Instead, she scolded her. The girl had been staying out late many times. The girl was devastated. She ran out of the house, but who knew that just around the corner, he met that scum again. The man was smiling hypocritically. He asked the girl why she didn't answer her phone. The girl couldn't hold out any longer. Kneeling on the ground, she begged.
아무한테도 얘기 안 해. 죽을 때까지 아무한테도 얘기 안 할게.
왜 그래? 야, 누가 보면 내가 너 괴롭히는 줄 알겠다. 같이 재밌게 잘 놀다 왜 그러냐?
The scum from that night appeared again. The girl watched them approaching step by step. The scene of déjà vu has plunged her into despair. The man took out the bottle of drug again.
오늘은 네가 우리랑 약속 어긴 거니까 벌 받아야겠지.
Seeing this familiar object, the girl knew what would happen if she drank it. He kept begging for mercy, but the man squatted down and threatened that if he didn't comply, his video would be shown to the whole school tomorrow.
잊지 마. 넌 내 장난감이야. 난 네 주인이라고.
The girl lost all her courage to resist. With tears in her eyes, drinking the bottle of ecstasy that made him fall into the abyss. When he woke up again, he was lying naked in the park. He was discarded like a piece of garbage, but his pleas didn't get him any promises from the scumbags. The video was eventually sold on the internet. When the police found the victim's mother, he realized that his daughter had suffered so much. The mother was devastated. She pinned all her hopes on the police. Soon after, the police arrested the culprits, but the unscrupulous media, who heard the news, didn't care about the girl's broken heart. Not only did they publicize the story and put indecent photos on the front page, luckily, the girl was strong enough. She survived the hardest time. The family went to a new city to start a new life. 10 years have passed since then. The girl successfully got out of the darkness. She became a teacher and met her own love. Just when life was heading in the right direction, the familiar drink appeared in front of her once again. The flashbulb went off. A woman sent her private photos to someone else.
참 가지가지들해요.
The repeated assaults in high school, it left an indelible scar on his heart, but I never thought that 10 years later, this nightmare would happen again. That day after work, she saw the coffee brought by her student on the table. The woman took a sip. She didn't expect to wake up the next morning. Soreness and tears all over her body. She had a bad feeling. As she was washing up, a message came from her cell phone. They were all taken after the woman was knocked out. He froze and a sense of powerlessness came over him. He wished it was just a nightmare, but all the videos on his cell phone showed that everything was reality. That night, his fiancée arranged a family dinner. The family was very happy. It was obvious they were very happy with the woman. But while chatting, the woman received a text message from a mysterious person, asking him to take a private photo. The woman ignored it. Seeing that she didn't cooperate, he sent the text message directly to a public cell phone.
H264의 은밀한 사진?
The woman's face turned pale when she heard it. He didn't want his life to be ruined. He had no choice but to excuse himself to the restroom. Sent the photo as requested. When he got home, the woman was about to go to sleep when she received another message. The mystery man asked him to go to the school warehouse tomorrow. He asked her to go to the school's warehouse tomorrow to receive a gift from him. The next day, the woman cautiously arrived at the warehouse. In front of her eyes was the drug that had plunged him into nightmares. Her memories of the nightmare came flooding back. The woman covered her head in pain, as if she were suffocating. But he didn't want to compromise. He grabbed the bottle and smashed it. He wanted to say goodbye to the past. But what he didn't expect, the mystery man appeared in the classroom. He pulled everyone into a group. He said he was going to announce a set of beautiful photos. Then the countdown began. The woman hid under the table in fear, prepared to receive a strange look from the students. When the time was up, the woman got up trembling, but the eyes of the students were focused on the girl, Se-young. After looking at the photo, the woman realized that he wasn't the only one who suffered. The woman went to Old Park, who investigated the case. She told him about the recent events. She hoped that Park would help her track down the mysterious man again, but Park was no longer a police officer, so he politely refused. The woman could only investigate the truth on her own. After talking to Se-young, she found out by accident the squad leader was the one who took the photos. In order to solve her mystery, after school, she followed the class monitor into a karaoke bar, but before she could get close enough to observe, she was spotted by the students in the box. The woman could only run away in panic. Just in the nick of time, a middle-aged man wearing a cap appeared just in time. He was able to help the woman escape. It was none other than Detective Park who came to her aid. Perhaps she was still upset about what happened back then. In the end, she chose to help the woman, a woman lying in a bathtub. She wants to end her tragic life. Suddenly, she receives a video of her student being kidnapped. The mysterious person sends a message that if the woman doesn't go to the rescue, Se-young will be broadcast live and naked. She'll be the next Netflix sensation. Watching Se-young's tragic pleas for help in the video, the woman felt like she saw herself once. She realized that hiding was not an option. She looked at the razor blade on the table. She decided to rescue Se-young. It's also a way to end her past. First, she sent a message to Detective Park. Then she rushed to the factory. The bottle of ecstasy was lying around the factory. She knew what would happen if she drank it, but she drank it anyway, because she was the only way to save Se-young. As expected, after a short period of unconsciousness, the masked men reappeared. They were laughing and holding cell phones. They were ready to broadcast the scene live. The class monitor was among them. The woman didn't care about them. She just kept calling out Se-young's name. But what he didn't expect was, Se-young took on a new identity. She came out from behind the crowd. It turned out that in this crime game, Se-young was just an actor. In order to make the woman fall into the trap, now the woman has been caught. The main event is about to begin. Just as they were about to commit the crime, a voice came out.
땅이들 하자 이 개풀의 자식들아 대가리에 피도 안 마른 새끼들이 기저귀에 피똥싸기 한번 쳐맞자.
As the two sides engaged in a fierce battle, unsurprisingly, Park was easily taken down, and he got a smelly sock in his mouth. But fortunately, Park had a plan this time. Before arriving, he called the police. The prisoners fled in a hurry, and the woman broke free and chased after him. It turns out he had a razor blade hidden in his hand. He caught up with Se-young and flipped him over. He slapped him across the face. Soon the police caught everyone, but the mystery man wasn't one of them. But fortunately, Se-young's cell phone was used. Se-young's cell phone. We got his number. They were able to pinpoint his location. At first, they thought the mystery man behind the scene was the scumbag who assaulted a woman 10 years ago. But after investigation, they found out he died shortly after his release from prison. Based on the general location of the number, the police went to the neighborhood to investigate. As soon as they entered, a suspicious man ran away in a panic, but the police finally caught him. The man confessed. He did imitate the sexual assault case 10 years ago, but he had the heart but not the guts. He just bluffed on the internet. He didn't take any real action. Is he the wrong man? On the other hand, the woman and Park went to the neighborhood to check the area. They saw a house with an open door, but there was no light on. They went to the house, but they only saw the figure of a child. The boy trembled and backed away. Shedding tears of frustration, Old Park looked at the awards on the wall and the adult page on the computer. He seemed to realize something. Then he called the mystery man. In the crowd of incredulous eyes, the cell phone in the child's hand rang. The mysterious man that everyone fears is actually this minor child in front of me. It turns out that the boy grew up with his father. His father's cowardice and inaction influenced his childhood deeply. He imitated his father's behavior. He saw crime as a prank. He made money by selling DVDs. Then he bribed high school kids to do his work. It's unimaginable that a young child could commit such a heinous crime. What's even more chilling, those evil kids can only be handed over to the prosecution for simple criticism and education. They can't be punished by the law. Even Inspector Park couldn't help but wonder. The laws of the Republic of Korea at this time. It's a shame that the laws of the Republic of Korea